What's up, Group Coach Nation? I got Vinit Shah here today, and we're talking about sales strategy. So this has come up so many freaking times. I don't know if it's just what's going on in the world. There's always something going on in the world. There's always something with politics. There's always something with the economy. You're never going to be at a loss for excuses of why sales aren't working. So all of us here, coaches, consultants, agency owners, we're all selling our information in some form or fashion. Vinit is the founder of London School of Sales. Vinit's been in our programs in the past. Like, he's the real deal. He knows what he's doing. So I asked him to come on today and start. We're going to get as far as we can, like 20 minutes, Vinit. But like, let's talk about what needs to be in a sales strategy. How do you build it? I know there's 7 key steps, but let's just go as fast and far as we can. Is that cool with you?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. And thank you for having me on.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're here. All right, man. You're it. Like, start with point number 1. Let's just start drilling this thing.
Okay. So look, I just want to set the scene. The biggest challenge that I find that a lot of small business owners have is when they want to transition from doing the sales to transitioning and building a team to do the sales for them. Now, when you're doing the sales yourself, you can absolutely do things at your own pace, in your own way. The challenge is that when you start building a team, when you start bringing other people into your business to do the sales, you need to make sure that you empower them. You give them the tools, the technology, and everything else to help them be successful. Ultimately, it's for you. In order to do that, you need to develop a sales strategy. So what is a sales strategy? First and foremost, you need to translate that business strategy that you have, that overarching plan for your business, into a sales plan. Now, that effectively means taking your business strategy and translating it into a sales vision. So writing down, what is the sales vision? What is the number that you want to achieve at the end of the year? More importantly than that, actually, how do you want your team to sell? How do you want them to represent your brand? Remember, they are your brand ambassadors. So you need to set the guardrails for how you want them to sell. Okay. Now, sales is about personality. So you don't have to go down the route of actually saying, actually, this is the rigid format you want them to do things. People buy from people. You have to trust that process, but you've got to give them the tools. You've got to set those guardrails and say, this is your expectations of what you can do, what you can't do. This is how you want them to sell. More importantly, you want to start documenting that. And a lot of what made you successful as consultants, as coaches, as solopreneurs, as one-man bands, you need to start thinking about how you're going to extract that information from your mind and put it on paper. That's essentially what I help founders, small business owners do.
That makes
sense.
That's
step 1. It's translating business strategy into a sales vision and a sales strategy. Okay. Of course, there's elements within that, but that's the broader basis of it. The second component of developing your sales strategy is what I call market fit analysis. Generally speaking, as a solopreneur, as a small business owner, you would probably have followed some form of a scattergun approach. And what I mean by that is you will go wherever the business is. You will effectively try and find business wherever you can, and that will ultimately, you will find a way to close that business. It works for you. It doesn't always work for people in your team. You've got to make sure that they are focused. Now, in order to do that, you need to understand what your total addressable market is. And really, this is partly about understanding who your ideal profile is as a customer, and then also mapping that out. I'll give you an example. I did some work for a client that was selling to schools. Now, I'm based in London. There are 32,000 schools in the UK. There is more than enough schools for you to sell to, probably for the rest of your life, if you were selling into that market. It's too big. So you've got to be able to actually say, that's my total addressable market. Now, how do I segment that down? Okay. Is it by high school? Is it by primary school? Is it by infant school? Is it by academy? Is it by geographic location? Is it by number of pupils? You start actually then creating a list. And then you create filters within that list. So it's your tier 1, your tier 2, and your tier 3 prospects, or your platinum, gold, silver, bronze, however you want to do it. And the key thing here is that actually each one of them is going to have a different strategy that you're going to have to approach when you try and sell to them.
Mhm.
A big part of this component is also understanding your competitors. How are they positioning their products and services, and what are you doing?
I love this. I'm a huge market segment guy, and I love that you're creating a streamlined structure so someone who's not the founder, who can be pretty nimble on sales situations, can actually say there's a little bit of cookie cutter in there. Teams need cookie cutters. So love this. Okay. Do you want to go for we're just so you got so much to cover. What's number 3?
Right. So third one is stakeholder profiles. So
Stakeholder
remember,
profiles.
stakeholder profiles. I'm not talking about marketing personas. I'm talking about buying personas. The bigger the organization you're selling to, the more stakeholders that are going to be involved in the process. If you're doing small business to small business, founder to founder, okay, there's one person involved. Actually, generally, there's always more than one person involved, because even a founder has other considerations to make. It might sound silly, but they might have a partner. They might have someone actually looking after their finances. They may consult with that individual. So you've got to understand the role that each person plays in that buying process. Okay.
For instance, the purchasing committee at the schools, the school board in that example. Gotcha.
Absolutely. And generally, another way of looking at it is you're going to have an economic stakeholder. You're going to have an influencing stakeholder. You're going to have a technical buyer. So in the school example, the IT team, if it's a software product, will be the technical buyer.
Yeah.
You're going to have a user buyer. So whoever is going to use that piece of software, the solution, the product at the end, has a vested interest in that product, in that solution. So you've got to understand all of the stakeholders that are involved in that process. You've got to understand their roles. You've got to understand actually what is it that makes them tick? What is their priority in this process? Okay. It's a subtle difference here. Yes, ideal customer profiles are important, but from a sales strategy perspective, it's your stakeholder profiles. That is crucial. So that's 3.
Okay, then 4.
So the fourth
You're flying, man. I love this. Love this.
The fourth one is your customer journey. And I've been there. We've all made this mistake of thinking that we know what our target audience wants. We know what they want, we know when they want it, and we know how they want it. And that's partly the issue that we have. We think that they should be able to make this decision in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month. We don't consider it from their perspective in terms of the journey that they have to take. Let me use that school example again. There's a head teacher, economic buyer. There's a department head, right, who is an influencing buyer, a technical buyer. There's the IT, technical buyer. There's a user within the department that's going to use the solution. All of these people need to be engaged. They go through a process internally within the school to determine what that journey is going to be. We can't second guess that. So you need to understand deeply all of the steps that your prospects make before they get to that buying process. Because I guarantee you, there's a lot going on before they get there. And by the way, there are exceptions to every rule. So yes, there are going to be individuals that buy out of that cycle. But it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of people, 80% of your prospects, your ideal clients are going to buy because they've gone through a process. And then there are statistics that support this now. You know, most buyers probably do 2/3 of the research before they engage in a sales conversation.
So true.
So you've got to make sure that you know you've done your homework and you ask the right questions of them when they engage with you. They don't want you to sell to them. They want you to help manage the process.
I just want to emphasize this point for everybody. This is like, so Jill and I have been together since we were 17. That's when we went on our first date. We've been married 25 years. We've been together for 30 years. Okay. Got lucky. So the third date, I walked out of that date and I knew I'm going to marry this girl. I was freaking 17. I don't even know what I want to do in life still. I still don't know. I know I was going to marry that girl. But if I had turned around to her and said, hey, will you marry me? I would have never talked to her again. And it's the customer journey, right? There has to be this, just because you know where this customer needs to get to, because you know how to help them, the business standpoint, they're not there yet. They don't have your expertise. They don't have your aha moments yet. Yeah, there's the process. Freaking love it. All right, what's number 5?
It's the word that you just said. It is your sales process. Believe it or not, most organizations that I speak to do not have a sales process that is going to help them close deals consistently. It is scattergun. It is sporadic. They haven't thought about the steps that they're going to take once they are having the conversation with their ideal prospects.
And by the way, everybody, this is not a sales script. You can download those for free on the Google. Have ChatGPT build you one. This is the entire process, like pre-indoctrination, post-sale, mid-sale. It's so tied together. When you get Bennett, when you get this figured out, everybody, it makes it so much easier.
No, you're absolutely right. And this is, each one of these steps is ridiculously complicated. But here, it is about qualification. It is about, if you're going to do a demo, if your solution has a demo, when do you do that demo? How do you determine whether you're going to do that demo or not? The key thing is that you have to have these steps mapped out. I've spoken to clients that said to me they've got 15 stages in their sales process, and I've spoken to others that say it's a 2-step process. I will say this to you here and now. Ideal, statistically, the amount of sales stages in a sales process that is statistically supposed to be the ideal is between 6 and 7. So just think about what you are doing at different stages of the sales process and what the expectations are. This is it is probably one of the most important things. You've got your client journey, you've got your sales journey. Make sure they're aligned. That's the crucial thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number 5.
Let's go.
Number 6.
Can't believe we're going to make it, man. We're going to get there. This is great.
We've just spoken about 5 elements. Number 6 is all about your action plan and your measures of success. Make sure that you build and you're thinking about everything with the end in mind. So actually, are you collecting the right information to be able to make data-driven decisions as you iterate this process? I guarantee you, the first time that you do all of this, there will be elements that don't work. They feel a little bit clunky. The key thing is that you're collecting data. You're focusing on the right data points to be able to make some data-driven decisions. Let me give you an example. There is what I would call deal velocity. What is deal velocity? Well, do you know your win rate? Do you know your conversion rate? Do you know your average order value? Do you know how long it takes for someone to actually work through a sales process? And if you're saying to me that it takes between 1 and 6 months, that's a huge difference. Is it 1? Is it 6? I think, there has to be a sweet spot in terms of generally from when someone is engaged to you taking them through that sales process. And it will generally there'll be a number depending on whether the sales cycle is, sometimes it can be 18 months, but sometimes it can be a month. But you've got to know what that is. And you divide all of that by your total volume of deals that are in your pipeline. That will give you your sales velocity. That is just one critical measure that I would be looking at. But the key thing is, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, we've run our business for years now on sales velocity. That we didn't use that term, but pipeline with the sales velocity measure in there, because the coolest thing about everybody is when you get that pipeline sorted, you don't want just a pipeline of here's some people and prospects we're following up on. Your pipeline of done like Vinit's talking about, like whatever Vinit structure you have, people go see Vinit wherever you can find it. We'll put his links and stuff below here. He's got structures for all this stuff. But he runs trainings on stuff all the time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But if you have that thing, you can predict your income the next 30, 60, 90, 180, 12 months. Like it shows you where your money's at.
But absolutely. But it also tells you where the gaps are in your process. So I'll give you an example. If you find that your pipeline is lopsided, when I say lopsided, you've got too many deals in the middle and not enough early on in the stage. Well, what you realize is that actually your outreach engine isn't working. If you've got too many in the middle and not enough closing, well, there's something stuck there, or there's something not quite right in the middle of your sales process. So that's the crucial thing. Having your measures of success identified, locked down, and you're doing them consistently is critical. Of course, there are systems, there are tools that can help you do all of this, but it's knowing what to track, when to track it, how to track it. So that's number 6.
Okay,
and then
love
the
it.
final one is account management. And within account management, you have customer success, you have feedback. Now, it sounds so trivial, but generally speaking, most founders, most small businesses focus on acquiring customers. And they think that, okay, you know what, we've acquired them, great. But actually, remember, it's a lot easier to converse and to sell to existing customers. They are your greatest source of feedback. Whenever you launch something new, whenever you do something new, you already have a relationship with them. You've already sold to them. So you've got to make sure that that account management process is locked down. The experience that they have from you after sale is equally as important as the sales process itself. Because the likelihood is if you wow them, they're going to stay clients with you for a long time. So, don't underestimate that power of the account management process. Make sure that you've got your customer success, you've got that whole feedback loop really locked down. And if that means interacting and engaging with them on a regular basis, make sure that that's part of that too. So look, that Chris, is the 7-stage system for developing the sales strategy. Of course, there is lots of detail, but at a high level, that's what you need.
In 16 and a half minutes. I'm so impressed that you did that. Thank you. And let me just say one more thing on this account management. If you don't know what the next opportunity is that your clients want from you, you need to know that, because it is so hard to get new clients and it is so easy to retain good clients. You got to keep getting new clients. But when you compare it to, like Vinit's saying, like, you just got to work with the people who already know, like, and trust you, that understand what you do. They're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So holy cow, Vinit. Okay, here's what I would tell everybody. This is a lot, obviously. We just went through 7 things. If you're just jumping in halfway, go back, right? We're going to put Vinit's contact info and what he's doing below, above, wherever you find this. If you don't see it, please message us and contact us. Here's why I've asked Vinit to do this. Number one, he's been in our world and been extremely helpful for people in our community as well. He's constantly running programs and teaching and educating and putting groups together for helping people like you and me all do this stuff. So if you're not solid on these 7 points, you're not like, I got him. This is not motivating in any other way, and just saying, please do it. Because when I figured out how to put together a solid sales strategy with all the components, I had to get out of my way. I couldn't read the label from inside my own bottle, so to speak. And I got out of my way and realized, oh my gosh, this is what's actually going on. The depth and breadth of our sales process grew significantly, and it takes less time than it used to take. And it's way more connected and long-term. It's just, you got to figure it out. This is how you make money in the business we're all in. You got to figure it out. You got to have leads, you got to have sales. And if you don't have a sales strategy and a structure, you're leaving so much money on the table. So Vinit, even if people just listen to this and walk away, whatever, if they do that, thank you for educating.
You're welcome.
But thank you also for just building a community with really deep content that actually moves the needle for people.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Chris.
Yeah. Any last words of wisdom you want to leave with us?
Look, it's all about, so look, our tagline is learn more, sell more. And I guarantee you that every time I've learned more out of failure than I have done from things working out. Because when you realize that something isn't quite working and you investigate that in your business, you're going to realize actually there's probably more tweaks that you can make. And I would never, ever get comfortable. The bottom line is that every time I get comfortable, I know there's something wrong. So the more I've learned, the more I've been able to iterate in terms of strategy, sales processes, and all of those little tweaks have led to bigger and better things. And that's the crucial thing. That's the biggest piece of advice I give to anyone, because sales isn't just about you do this once. You're constantly going to have to iterate on it. Every time something changes in the market, it's your sales strategy that you've got to focus on. Every time you introduce a new product, it's your sales strategy that you've got to revisit and say, all right, what's changed? Is it my market? Is it my ideal customer profile? Who are the stakeholders now? Does the buying journey need to change? Does the selling journey need to change? Okay, is my sales process fit for purpose? All of those things. So you just got to constantly think about this and iterate on it. But what's crucial is, as a business owner, if you have the tools and the understanding to do it, you can keep always doing it rather than relying on someone else to do it for you. That's my final word.
Ooh, I love that. That is a big jump to make, moving from selling on your own to having a team. It's such a huge jump.
Yeah.
Wow. Vinit Shah, what's your website for the listeners, not the people who just,
So Business is London School of Sales website is lsos.co.
lsos.co. Awesome. London School of Sales, the first initials, .co. Straight from London. Thank you so much, Vinit Shah, for educating. That's what we're all here about. Group Coach Nation, I say this all the time, do the freaking work to get the results. We're not a big fan of the hustle lifestyle. I sure don't encourage anybody else to. I want you to have a real life, but you got to do the work. The point of all these episodes is for you to do the real work, not the side hustle work, not the hustle over the weekends work, but like what's actually going to move the needle. So if you're building a group coaching program, a mastermind, you're moving from one-on-one and done for you, like this is the ticket. If you're trying to figure out, okay, I got this mastermind, I got a done for you service, and I got a group coaching program, all these things, I just need a sales team, reach out to Vinit. Like, we bring experts to you so you can actually move the needle. Always reach out to us with questions. That's why we're here. Do work, get results. Vinit, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Talk soon, everyone. Y'all have a fantastic day.